Gwinnett Stripers. After the win, the Knights moved to 29-40 on the year. The two teams are back at it tonight in Charlotte with first pitch set for 7:04. The Atlanta Braves beat the Detroit Tigers 2-1 for the second consecutive night. Atlanta tallied 2 runs in the bottom of the first, and that was all they would need as they moved to 40-31 on the season with the victory. And other games around the majors, the Marlins, Reds, Phillies, Mariners, Diamondbacks, Yankees, Red Sox, Mets, Cubs, and White Sox were all winners. With your Wednesday sports, I'm Chris Miller.
If your primary care physician has recommended surgery for a medical condition and non-invasive medical treatments are not an option, you may want to talk to your surgeon about new, less invasive surgical techniques. At Piedmont Medical Center, we use Da Vinci robotic surgery, a robot-assisted system controlled by a surgeon designed to allow for greater surgical precision during many general, GYN, and urology procedures that potentially offers you a quicker recovery. Learn more online at PiedmontMedicalCenter.com. Piedmont Medical Center, a community built on care.
Business today is fast, competitive, and demanding of its leaders. Do you feel as if you are constantly behind? Do you feel it is taking your every effort just to stay competitive? The Business Coach offers proven methods and innovative ideas to help your business grow and succeed in the current business climate. No one can do it alone. Savvy executives use a coach. To build your brand and grow your business, join me, Russell J. White, the Business Coach, Fridays here on WRHI 100.1 FM.
I'm Jerry Willis, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The markets are closed today for the Juneteenth holiday. Home builders are expressing concern about persistently high mortgage rates, keeping prospective buyers on the sidelines. The National Association of Home Builders survey for June dropped to a reading of 43, down from 45 in May and the lowest reading since December. Hybrid planes could be flying in about a decade. GE Aerospace says it is testing a hybrid plane engine that could be used in narrow-body jets. And Ferrari's first electric car will cost buyers more than $500,000. Reuters says the Ferrari EV is expected to launch late next year. Luxury sneaker brand Golden Goose was expected to launch its stock this week in Milan. It's been postponed, citing deteriorating market conditions. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
A violent crime is committed every 24 seconds. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association exists to provide you with firearms education, training, and access to self-defense liability insurance, so when trouble comes, you'll be ready. Over 800,000 Americans trust the USCCA, and right now, there's an exclusive, limited-time offer for radio listeners. Go to defendfamily.com to get a free family defense guide, a survival secrets training video from a retired FBI agent, and see all the benefits of membership. Go to defendfamily.com now.
Life in the outdoors is all about hunting, fishing, camping, cooking, archery, and how best to enjoy the outdoors. This is Darren Nichols. If there's a bit of the outdoorsman in you, then join us for Life in the Outdoors, Fridays here on WRHI 100.1 FM, presented by Nichols Store in Rock Hill.
Are you looking to elevate your hydration game with Smart Water Alkaline with antioxidant? Whether you're a professional athlete, fitness enthusiast, or just someone who's always on the go, Smart Water Alkaline has got you covered. With a pH balance of 9.5 plus, added antioxidant, and electrolytes for taste, we'll focus on keeping you hydrated so you can focus on raising the bar. Elevate how you hydrate with Smart Water Alkaline.
Distributed by Rock Hill Coca-Cola Bottling Company.
Strengthening the lives of children and families is a passion. Turn that passion into results as a child welfare case manager. Learn more at dss.sc.gov. This message is sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Social Services.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. On this Juneteenth, the federal holiday, the presidential debate 8 days away. President Biden's executive order for migrants married to U.S. citizens whipping up a campaign issue. Montana GOP Senator Steve Daines tells Fox Business.
They think this somehow will help them with the votes. Here's the problem. Hispanic voters want to make sure that we are a nation of law and order. You come in the right way. Hispanic voters don't want to see this massive amnesty bill.
The Trump Veep stakes charging up. Shortlist Senator J.D. Vance helping candidate Trump with debate prep. The 39-year-old from Ohio is the only one to answer the big question to Fox.
If Trump picks up the phone and calls you, the first sort of thought you have to have with yourself is not just could I be vice president, but could I stand ultimately in the big chair? And look, if he asks me, I'll think about it, but I think the answer is yes.
Today's the deadline for RFK Jr. to qualify for the debate. America's listening to Fox News.
In the News Center, I'm Stephen Stone. While Juneteenth is technically today, Rock Hill is set to have a massive celebration this weekend spread all over town. So what exactly is Juneteenth and why is it celebrated? Here's Juneteenth Rock Hill Treasurer Sabrina Miles.
Juneteenth is history. And, you know, people want to say we have black history. Well, we have American history. We're all here together. So Juneteenth is just a celebration of freedom.
Juneteenth got its name because of the date the last slaves in Texas were freed, which was June 19th, 1865. It was declared a national holiday by President Biden in 2021. As for this year's Juneteenth event, you can find out more by visiting JuneteenthRockHill.com. And as summer continues to bring heat waves across the state, experts are warning people who take certain medications to be careful.
Those include medicines for high blood pressure, allergies, and mental health. Diuretics, which help the body produce more urine, can lead to dehydration in extreme heat. Beta blockers can impede the body's ability to regulate temperature, while certain antipsychotics can affect the ability to produce sweat.
WRHI Rock Hill, W261CY Rock Hill. Good Pharmacy, Rock Hill's hometown pharmacy for over 60 years. Camden Avenue at Ebenezer Road. Straight Talk on WRHI FM 100.1 and CN2 is presented by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now here's Manning Kimmel broadcasting live from Substation 2 on Cherry Road in Rock Hill with Straight Talk, selected by the South Carolina Broadcasters Association as the state's top public affairs program.
Well, welcome into Substation 2, but that's not exactly where we are on this edition of Straight Talk. We'll talk to you about that later. Presented by Founders Federal Credit Union, relax here with Founders, and by Comporium, your friendly neighborhood tech giant. Piedmont Medical Center is with us today, a community built on care, as is Good Pharmacy, your hometown pharmacy, Ebenezer Road at Camden Avenue in Rock Hill. Now, this doesn't sound like a sub shop today. It sounds like a body shop. What do you do in Manning in a body shop? Well, I came to check on my car, and my car sustained a heck of a lot of hail damage from the one we had on April 20th, and I brought it up here to Burns Body Shop. And the man who runs this place, James Burns, how would you describe my 2016 Suburban right now?
I'd say it looks like it went through Kuwait or Baghdad during the middle of a firefight.
I mean, I've never seen a car. They've taken everything off of it, doors, the ceilings out, all the interiors. I mean, you've stripped this thing down to basically a shell.
Definitely. That's exactly what it is right now, because to get to the dents from the back side of the metal, they have to take your roof lining down, take your door covers off, take your hood off, take your tailgate off, just so they can get to work on it properly.
When I walked through here a couple of weeks ago and told you I wanted to do this show, I know you said I'm crazy. Well, you're not the first one to say that. But I was amazed at how, I'll call it an art form, that these workers you've got here are doing.
It's amazing what they do, how they can get these dents out of your car without breaking the paint. It's truly it's magic, to tell you the truth.
So we'll talk to somebody eventually as to how they do this. The hailstorm on April the 20th obviously created havoc for you and everybody else.
Oh, well, put it this way, Manning. We have 5 times the amount of work in process back here right now as we do on a normal month. And it's been carrying on for 3 months. That's how much damage this hailstorm did. It's good for business, but not good for the community. But I would say this is definitely by far the worst hailstorm I've ever seen hit.
I was talking with Erin out front, and she was mentioning to me that the insurance people said that they had like 9,000 claims. So there's all kinds of claims. Homeowners claims, car claims, what have you. You obviously got a bunch of them right here.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you right now, the amount of damage we have in the body shop sitting here right now is estimated to be $1 million worth.
Right now?
Just right now. That's not what we have backlogged out. That's not here yet. So I'm going to imagine we're just one body shop in Rock Hill. Brian, maybe you could help me guess, how much damage do you think this hailstorm created to just cars, not to mention roofs and the houses in Rock Hill?
Anywhere from $30 to $50 million, probably.
Brian tell me your whole name, Brian.
Brian Neely. I have Paintless Body Shop, and I travel around and I strictly repair hail damage. I move from city to city, and this is what I specialize in.
So it looks like you're going to be here for a while.
Correct. I will be, yes.
I mean, in your profession, when you travel from city to city chasing storms, is this about on par with other hailstorms that you've seen?
No, not really. Not for this section of the United States. This is more in Colorado and West Texas type of hail. So this is a very significant hailstorm for this area, and it wasn't normal at all.
All right. So this particular automobile that you have torn apart just happens to be mine.
Correct.
I don't know whether this was staged this way or not, but
it actually was.
It was. It just happened. I mean, how do you describe what you have disassembled this car? Have you not?
Correct. We've taken the doors off, the windows out of the doors. We put the doors up on stands, and we repair the dents in the doors without having to paint. And when we're done, we put everything back together and back on your car, and it's ready to go.
You make that sound so simple.
It is. It is. It's not very difficult at all. I do it all the time. So,
just from a novice standpoint, how many hours did it take you to disassemble this car into what it is right now?
Maybe 2.
2 hours?
Yeah.
One guy?
No. 2 guys. So maybe 4 working hours. But we're professionals here. We do a very good work. This is all we do, so it's not a problem at all.
All right. Now, you're obviously working this car. How many man hours would you guess are involved with taking this thing apart, putting it back together, and so I can go drive it home?
Oh man, it's gonna take probably once we get started on it to the time we finish, maybe a week.
A week of one man hour?
No, we have to paint the hood, and we have to sand the hood, the roof, everything. There's a lot of work. We have to paint, and they have to prime and change parts and put everything back together. So after everything's said and done, probably a good week.
So 40 or 50 hours at least?
At least, yes.
Probably more like 75 hours.
Probably.
So, James, tell me, and you jump in here as well, when a car like this comes in, and you got a whole shop full of them, the process is what? To count the dents and try to figure out, is it cheaper to take the dents out than to replace the part?
Well, yeah, that's what Brian does. He comes in with the adjuster. They look at the car, and they come to an agreement, I believe. Isn't that correct, Brian?
Yes, it is.
And they come to an agreement with the insurance company, and then the insurance company gives us the go-ahead, the green light to fix the car. That's when we schedule you, bring you in, and then get started on your car.
Now, in this case, because I know this, there was an original estimate to do this car, and when it got in here and you all started taking a look at the roof of this car, you said, uh-oh, there's some more to it. So that's when you re-engage the insurance company?
Correct. A lot of times we have to write a supplement for the extra damage that we see. A lot of times the adjusters see the car outside, and they don't have the proper equipment to look at the damages like we do with the lights, and we pull it inside. So we see quite a bit more than they do once they get it here.
And then, James, I guess it's up to the insurance company to decide whether they're just going to total the car versus fix it?
Correct. But right now we're having a problem with part shortages on certain vehicles. So a lot of cars that would have normally been totaled, they're fixing because they can't replace the parts, they can't replace the car. So that's due to still strains from COVID and whatnot.
You have a very unique situation here, don't you? You've been having trouble getting inventory before there was a hailstorm, and now this has just compounded it.
Look, it's been going on for 4 years now. We just had to learn to live with it and keep going. I mean, it's just like any other problem you have in life. You know, you have to rise above the occasion and handle your business.
So I imagine, Brian, that when you have customers like me, and I hope I'm not a pest, but they're obviously calling here. You know, when's it going to be done with? Right. So patience is the order of the day?
Yes, it is. It is. We're getting to them as soon as we can, and it takes a little bit of time. And whenever I have to repair a part that is on back order, it takes a little extra time to do. So we're getting it done, though.
Wow. So it begs the question, and I think I know what the answer is. If you could find another dozen Brians, you probably hire them right now?
Immediately. They work in their magic. We're trying to get, like I say, scheduling right now is very important. You don't need a car sitting here for 3 weeks not being touched because we already have a big line of cars in front of it. So the more people we have back here, the more of these cars we can fix.
And the other part of this is most insurance policies provide some kind of a vehicle for a reasonable period of time, but when you got a month or more you run into problems.
Yes, most insurance companies give you 30 days with a loaner car. After that, it's on your dime. That's why it's very important for us to schedule the cars perfectly.
All right, Brian, so your next step on this, you've taken this whole car apart, and I mean, this looks like it was still on the assembly line. You're doing now what to it? Because I noticed you were hammering some dents.
Yeah, I was taking the dents out of the quarter panel. I'm almost done with it, making a few more adjustments. And once I'm done with that, the doors are already done. We're going to put everything back on the car, and then they're going to eventually paint the hood and the roof, and it'll be done.
So when you order a new roof like you had to do for this car and a new hood, it's not sent in painted. It comes in just a raw piece of steel?
Yes, it comes in. It's like in black. It's like a galvanized black. So we just have to sand it down and attach it and paint it.
So James, you got a whole paint shop here as well?
Whole paint shop, whole detail shop. Oh, and by the way, Manning, we're going to detail before we get back to you.
Hey, James, thank you very much.
It came in here a little dirty, but it's going to come out a lot cleaner.
No, you can't buy my car back from me.
I'll get it one day, I promise.
I know you will. So you pound out these, this is what intrigued me. When I was in here a couple of weeks ago, I saw one of your fellow workers here just lightly tapping from the inside. It was almost like they were trying to play a piano the right way.
Correct. It's basically we have to resculpt the metal back to the original factory shape. So we have to work it from the inside and the outside.
So when you do it from the outside, you're not using a hammer. What are you using?
We use hammers, but they're highly polished, so it doesn't leave a mark.
Doesn't leave a mark?
No, it doesn't.
Somebody mentioned to me that at times you might use a magnet of some kind to pull metal out. Is that right?
No magnet. Sometimes I use hot glue on the roof rails where we can't access with the underneath. So we end up pulling them with hot glue. We put the tab, a plastic tab with hot glue on the center of the dent. We let it dry a few seconds and we kind of give it a good pull, and we have to sculpt it back down. So it's kind of basically resculpting the metal.
So you just tap away until you get all these dents out. Now, figuring out the dents, I noticed that you've got these high-powered lights, and this is how it allows you to see these dents?
Yes, I'm able to see the depth, or I'm either able to see if it's high or if it's low with the reflection of these lights that give off.
And you use these lights to initially count the dents to make sure you got them all when you're talking to the insurance company?
That's correct. That's correct. We can see everything with the lights.
Very interesting. Have you ever done this kind of work, James?
Not to this magnitude. This was, like I told you earlier, this is definitely the worst hailstorm I think Rock Hill has probably ever seen in its history. We've had some come through that were so light that you could barely see the dents, and it was really easy to fix them a couple years ago. But this one, this was serious.
All right, Brian. Everybody in this shop, and you got a bunch of people here at Burns Body Shop. Do they each have a different type of skill, or are they all just like Brian?
No, everybody has their own skill, and we all come together, and that's the way we're able to get everybody's car out. We're able to fix it, pretty much everything that comes through.
So you got door people, you got side panel people, you got roof people?
Everybody. Yeah, everybody has their own job.
All right, for somebody, this is an interesting conversation you and I were having, James, the other day. This is a perfect example of the type of career that somebody can get into and do very well in their lifestyle.
Unfortunately, in the past 30 years, everybody's been pushing their kids to go to college. And that was a huge mistake because it left a huge void in our workforce when it comes to auto body techs, mechanical techs. So the few that actually did go into these trades are making more money than any college student ever dream of making. And it's without the student loans, without all that debt, and they're literally clocking in at 8 and clocking out at 5. Don't have the headache of management and all that other stuff.
Well, you can see these men and women working here, and I know exactly what you're talking about. So if you were to, Brian, be talking to somebody at the high school level, what would you advise them to do as far as beginning to learn what you've learned over all these years?
You know, come to a place like Burns Chevrolet, a body shop, and if you're at a young age, exactly what I did. You just work under a painter or under a body man, gain the experience, and you'll get all the experience you can at a place like this. They'll teach you pretty much how to do everything without going to college.
It's all about experience. I mean, sitting here tapping away with somebody like you watching over them, that's how they're going to learn.
Exactly. That's exactly how you learn.
Okay, so you're tapping away, and do you ever reach a point where you just say, you know what, I am tired of tapping this quarter panel, and I'm just going to call the insurance company and say, let me get another one?
No, not at all. I know what we're getting into before we get into it, and it's easily repairable. It's not that big of a deal.
It's all about amount of perspective, not a big deal. If you saw this car, and I've taken some pictures of this, if you had seen this car and said, there's nothing to this, they would probably say, you're crazy.
Yeah, well, Manny, your car actually is probably one of the better ones. We've got some in here that I'm about to show you.
Well, that's a good cue for us to take our mid-program break and remind everybody that you are listening to Straight Talk, not live from Substation 2, but here from Burns Body Shop on Cherry Road at I-77. Now, I don't have to tell you how we do this, We have to tell everybody about Charlie's Subs and Salads. We have a motto at Substation 2, Brian. It's pretty simple. We all say it together. It's slice, 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 garden, garden, garden. So at the count of 3, we're all going to do this. Are we ready? At Burns Body Shop. First time ever. 1, 2, 3.
Slice, 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 garden, garden, garden.
All right, we'll be back after these words.
If it's 12:30, it's Straight Talk on WRHI and CN2.
Have you ever wondered why so many people enjoy dining at Substation 2?
Good fresh food, even fresher than Subway, and it's also on the paleo diet.
I like the people, I like the food, and being picked on.
I'm Charlie Ruffalo, and I guarantee you'll feel the same way after eating here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop.
When disaster strikes, one of the most important things is getting life back to normal. A little compassion can go a long way. Paul Davis is here for you. Paul Davis is committed to handling any property damage with exceptional care because what we do is about more than property. It's about people. We have the training and expertise necessary to completely restore your property fast. For all your cleanup and restoration needs, call the experts at Paul Davis Restoration at 329-1140 or find us online at pauldavisrockhill.com.
Introducing 2 new high-speed internet options. Comporium has created 2 new levels of service that give you access to fast, reliable internet for a remarkably low monthly price. Whether you prefer the Lite or the Essential plan, you can do everything you want online without spending too much. Prices start at $29.94 per month for Lite internet, and Essential internet is under $50. Both plans offer fast internet and free virus protection. Call Comporium today to sign up. 833-619-1848.
When it comes to matters of the heart, you want someone who understands you. And that's our mission at Piedmont's Heart and Vascular Center. We are the only cardiovascular hospital in York County providing comprehensive care from diagnosis to recovery. Our team includes experienced cardiologists, cardiovascular surgeons, and nurses, all dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. Cardiac care with advanced technology close to home. That's Piedmont Medical Center. Learn more online at piedmontmedicalcenter.com.
Relax this summer with a promotional rate on select travel purchases with your Founders Federal Credit Union credit card. Now through August 31st, get 6.99% APR for 6 months on qualifying purchases, including airfare, hotels, restaurants, and cruise lines. Don't let interest rates slow you down this summer. Visit foundersfcu.com/travel to learn more. On March 1st, 2025, the promotional APR will revert to the effective APRs previously disclosed. Call 800-845-1614 for details about credit costs and terms. Membership qualification required.
There are lots of reasons why people like dining at Substation 2.
The food, the number 19 is the best.
When I want lunch, I come to Substation 2 because I can't remember never not coming here.
I'm Charlie Ruffalo, and I guarantee you'll feel the same way after eating here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop.
Straight Talk on WRHI FM 100.1 and CN2 is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders.
Welcome back to our special edition of Straight Talk. We're on the road today, broadcasting from the Burns Body Shop where millions of dollars in repairs are underway to all the cars and trucks damaged during the April 20th hailstorm. Our conversation continues now with James Burns.
Well, I think it's probably Brad tells you about this one, because I'm telling you, this car was hit so bad, unlike your car, the paintless dent remover guys could fix your car. This was not paintless dent remover. This was repair, replace.
Well, that's a tough call, but the insurance company has got to make the call because these people want to get back on the road. So, Brad, when you get into this, what do? I mean, you just take every quarter panel off and just throw it in the trash?
Some of them, of course, are repairable, but if we're putting a roof panel on, which is a structural component, there's procedures that we follow that we get from GM or we get from All Data, and we have to follow exactly what it says on there, where you put the spot welds, how it comes off. There's structure components that are below the roof that you got to avoid damaging. There's a lot that goes to it, but we try to follow all the procedures that the manufacturer tells us that we've got to follow.
So amongst all these pros that are doing this work, you've got welders here as well.
Yeah, we've got the state-of-the-art equipment, whether it's spot welding, MIG welding, and then we go through training regularly throughout the years. Every year we have to do different procedures to stay in line.
So, James, new cars are more complicated than ever. The technology in trying to work on an engine, you can't do it anymore. You need a highly experienced person at the Burns Chevrolet shop to fix it.
And computers as well.
So how does that translate into bodywork? Has that become more complicated as well?
It really has, Manning. It's come to a point where the manufacturer is so particular on how the car is put back together because of all the recalls and the legality of everything nowadays that, it's the newer cars are 10 times harder nowadays to work on just because of all the tedious things that the manufacturer requires.
You know, one of the things that you're doing in my car is you're replacing the roof because the roof got clobbered by the hail. I'm curious as to how when you put a new roof on, how do you keep the doggone thing from leaking? I mean, you run it through a test or what?
Well, we do run it through a test. We have to use seam sealer, but we also have to do the spot welds in the exact spots the manufacturer requires.
So, James.
So as long as it's like putting a puzzle back together with the instructions. So once we put it back together, put the seam sealer in, there shouldn't be a leak. But we do test it to make sure because we wouldn't want you to get your car back with a wet roof line.
Roughly how long to get this thing back together? I mean, it's been sitting here as long as I've been in the shop.
This car had so much damage, it'll be here for at least a month. That's how bad it was.
Oh, my gosh. Jeez. And if you had to guess, you say it's an $80,000 car. What's it going to be, $50,000 to put this back together?
I don't know off the top of my head on this one. This was definitely at least a $30,000 job.
I bet it was. And then we look around here. You've got trucks in here. You've got sedans in here. You've got
everything. That's one thing that you want to be really careful about is who is fixing your car. Like Brad was just saying, he goes by the manufacturer's guideline how to repair the vehicle. Not everybody does that, and so, like I said, those fly-by-night companies you want to be really careful with. You want your car put back to the standards that the manufacturer built your car to. That's very important. Otherwise, down the road when you go to trade in your car or sell your car, you may have problems because of a faulty repair.
So when you send when a car comes through here and it gets fixed up, does that somehow reported on the VIN number of the car for a future owner?
No, these cars are just being repaired by the insurance company, and they will not show up down the road. And also, they're being fixed to a standard. You'll never know that they were in a hailstorm. Now, if these cars over here that have actually been wrecked, yes, they will have a accident on the Carfax.
So, James, there's lots of body shops out there. Not all of them have the reputation that the Burns Body Shop does. So what should they expect to do if they're selecting somebody or looking at somebody to fix their car?
First thing they should do is look at their certifications they acquired. Number one, are they an ASE certified body shop? And more importantly than that is ICAR certified, which is a welding. You know, I don't want someone that's not certified in welding on my car. Would you, Manny? No. And then nowadays with these newer cars, a lot of aluminum has been incorporated into the building of them, the manufacturing of them. So you want to make sure that they have any type of, which is ICAR, the welding certification for aluminum, especially on the Ford products and everything like that.
All right, what about references? Is asking too much for references?
No, definitely ask for references. References are huge, especially online. You can definitely go on and see how other consumers have, what they've said about a particular body shop. But definitely look at the certifications most of all, because a fly-by-night will not have those certifications.
Don't just rely upon your neighbor to say, oh, they do a good job. You need to check this out for yourself.
Definitely not. Make sure you do your homework, because you don't want to be left holding the bag with a half-fixed car.
So, these people are working hard here, and it's nonstop. Do you, because of the backlog here, do you try to, ask these guys to work overtime?
These guys can work as much as they want to work, because like I told you earlier, no one went in this field in the past 30 years. Therefore, they're worth their weight in gold, and they know it. Yeah. So I take very good care of these guys. Anything they want, they get.
Including a sandwich from Substation 2.
That's right. Slice.
Good. All right, so what else? Now, out back here, we're seeing, I don't know what we got in here, a dozen, 20 cars, something like that.
Inside, then we have a parts building out back holding Lord knows how many roofs and tailgates right now because of the hail damage. Our parts sales right now are quadruple as well as like everything else because this hailstorm was so bad.
And this is pretty much the case from your peers, others who are in the body shop business around town.
Well, yes, the ones in town, like I say, this is an anomaly that happened to Rock Hill. This is not something that, this hailstorm was the worst ever. But we only have a small hailstorm maybe once every 10 years. This one was not small by any means. Rock Hill has never seen a hailstorm like this before. We usually have a few dusting hailstorms where the damage is not nearly as significant as this, but from what all the guys that have seen a lot of hailstorms, they say this is one of those Midwest hailstorms that really creates a lot of havoc.
Based on what you have backlogged here at the shop, that's true.
Yes, we have over $1 million work in process right now in climbing. We have people scheduled out 8 weeks. Like I say, I hope they can stay patient with us. We're going to get there. We're only, you got to remember, we were staffed back here to not prepared for this hailstorm. We were staffed for like a normal month's work, so normal day's work. But now we, like I say, we're backlogged, but we're making sure we're getting the product out, getting a good product out in a timely manner, and make sure everyone's happy.
We talked about the fact that there is no priority given to anybody here. It's first come, first serve.
First come, first serve. We're not pushing anybody to the front of the line. But what we do need is, like I say, everyone just to remain patient. There's only so many body shops in Rock Hill, and there's only so many body technicians. And believe me, we weren't prepared for this.
I don't think anybody was. And then, of course, there's a process that you have to go through when you're using an insurance company.
Yes, call your insurance company. They will tell you where to go to have an estimate done. Once you have the estimate done, they will either issue you a check, and then they'll recommend which body shop for you to go to. Hopefully you choose us, but take it to the body shop. They'll get you in line. Once they get you in line, they'll get your car in, and then they'll see if there's any supplements that need to be made. A supplement is something the insurance company adjuster missed, and which is that's happened a lot because they're just looking at it. They're not actual body men. So once it gets in, they see how many dents were missed. They ask for the supplement, and then we get your car and get it fixed.
And that's exactly what happened to mine because the adjuster couldn't see the roof, but when he got into the body shop here at Burns, they could see the roof and said, oops, that has to be replaced too.
Yes. So, like I say, call your insurance company, get a preliminary done, then take it to the body shop. If a supplement needs to be created, it'll be created. Bring it on in, and we'll get you in line and get you taken care of.
Bottom line is you got to get in the queue. You got to get this process started. And scheduling is a big deal for you because you're trying to make sure people don't come in here before you can handle the work because they only have so much insurance coverage for an extra car.
Correct. We want to make sure that we don't want anybody to be upset. So like I said, we don't want them have a car sitting in the parking lot for 2 months, probably have a dead battery after 2 months because it hadn't started. So I'm sorry you had to drive your car in the current state it's in, but I promise you we'll get to you as soon as we can.
One last question. You got to be pretty proud of all these men and women who work here simply by seeing what's going out the door.
Yeah. We're working as hard and as fast as we can, working weekends, working extra at night and whatnot. But like I say, it's without this team I have, none of this would be possible.
Well, James Burns, thanks very much for allowing us to interrupt your operation here at Burns Body Shop and to bring our Straight Talk program out here on the road. It's been a very interesting afternoon. And that's going to wrap up our Straight Talk program live from Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop, presented by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax here with Founders, and by Comporium, your friendly neighborhood tech giant. Piedmont Medical Center, of course, a community built on care, has helped make these broadcasts possible as well. James, thank you very much.
Thank you, Manny.
You know what we're going to do now, don't you? Substation 2, Cherry Road across from Winthrop, fresh slubs and salads 6 days a week. How do we do it?
Slice, slice, slice. Fresh.
Garden. Come on now. Come on. And that'll wrap up our program. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Bye. Have you ever wondered why so many people enjoy dining at Substation 2?
The food is really good, and it's a great price.
The hot meatball subs with jalapenos.
A good deal for a delicious sandwich.
I'm Charlie Ruffalo, and I guarantee you'll feel the same way after eating here at Substation 2, Cherry Road across
South Carolina's most honored radio station. News Talk 100.1 WRHI Rock Hill. W261CY Rock Hill. The voice of York County.
An OTS media station.
Arraignment day in a closely watched case. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. It's a case fueling more debate about border security issues. The rape of a 13-year-old girl in New York City, where the suspect is a man from Ecuador who entered the U.S. illegally several years ago.
Christian Giovanni Ingolandi was ordered to leave our nation by an immigration judge back on February 2nd, 2022. That, according to the New York Post. It crossed the southern border illegally the year before in Texas. Well, now he faces charges that include rape, robbery, kidnapping, sex abuse, among others. Allegedly pulling that knife on 2 teens, a boy and a girl, and allegedly raping the 13-year-old girl in a Queens Park.
Fox's Eric Shawn. Londi is due in court this afternoon. A lawyer for singer Justin Timberlake just out with a statement saying he looks forward to vigorously defending him after Timberlake was charged with driving while intoxicated on New York's Long Island. More than 90 million Americans under heat alerts from the Northwest to the Northeast.
A lot of people have been saying that it feels early to get heat like this, and we are actually still in the last day of spring. So what a way to just ring it all in, head into the summer season with really a week's worth of really hot weather.
Fox Weather's Katie Byrne in Philadelphia as humidity fuels triple-digit heat.
We have cooling centers here across the Philly area and all across some of these major cities dealing with this heat in the Northeast, so people without AC can find some relief. There's also pools and spray grounds opening up for people just to find some way to cool off if they don't have AC.
In the southern Gulf of Mexico, tropical storm Alberto now churning toward Mexico, still nearly 300 miles away from Brownsville, Texas, but already battering parts of the Texas coast with its bands. Gale force winds extending more than 400 miles from the center. A tropical storm warning in effect from the Rio Grande near Galveston. America is listening to Fox News.
Your pet isn't just a pet, they're part of your family. Most of the pet food on the market is cooked at high temperatures, which kills nutrients. A scoop of Dynavite is a 3-in-1 daily supplement, adding back key nutrients to your pup's health. Try Dynavite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio. That's Dynavite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynavite.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-887-1010. 800-887-1010.
In the News Center, I'm Stephen Stone. The York County Regional Chamber held a meeting yesterday addressing the state of economic health. The featured speaker was Tom Barkin, CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond.
We ended 2023 in a really good place. Headline inflation, which you know is something we've been focused on, came all the way down to 2.6% by the end of the year. For the final 7 months of last year, it was actually exactly at our target of 2%. At the same time, despite the fact that interest rates were high and there's global conflict and we had banking turmoil, economic growth was healthy. GDP came in at 3.4% last year, and unemployment remained near historic lows.
Barkin went on to say the business is healthy but tightening, and it'll eventually slow us down. This is part of an ongoing series on the economy that features local leaders such as Rock Hill Mayor John Geddes, Fort Mill Mayor Gwen Savage, and County Councilman Tom Aldette. For more details on these and other stories, visit our website, WRHI.com. In the News Center, I'm Stephen Stone.
Going to see the nice weather pattern hanging around across the Tri-County once again today as our warm temperatures running at seasonal averages about 90, but the humidity levels are actually a little bit below average for this time of the year. That makes it more tolerable with the heat again this afternoon. Tomorrow, same story, no real change on Thursday, but by the time we head into Friday, we are back in the low 90s. The humidity starting to creep up again. It'll feel like mid-90s with the steam factor on Friday. It could feel near 100 this weekend. I'm meteorologist Keith Monday from Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
This is Benny Etter.
No matter what the weather, AirTech makes it better.
If your heating and air conditioning system is over 10 years old, why not invest in a new modern unit and immediately save up to 40% on your energy costs?
Call AirTech Heating and Air.
Dr. Carrie Watson, the Trauma Medical Director at Piedmont Medical Center, says she's very proud of what's being accomplished at Piedmont.
We are able to do robotic surgery. We are a robotic center of excellence, and that's robotic surgery for general surgery like gallbladders, hernias, colon. We also have robotic urology, so that's things like kidney removals and things with your bladder. We also have robotic neurosurgery that we're doing, and that's pretty amazing. Not a lot of places have that.
Piedmont Medical Center, a community built on care.
Somebody injures somebody else due to their negligence and they're not willing to step up and make that person whole again, we're the ones that go and make that happen.
We work together to make sure that what we're doing is understanding our client. It's very difficult to be a voice for someone that you don't know.
We don't want somebody to feel alone when they're not able to provide for their family because of an injury. We want people to know that there's somebody out there that will fight for them.